Hello, everybody. Mind the Wild. The goddess of opium will be joining us in a moment. I'm going to connect to her. Opium is a very, very ancient substance. It comes from the opium poppy, Papaver somniferum, the sleep bringing poppy. And it plays a major role in Minoan religion. It's mentioned in the Odyssey, at least it seems to be described in the Odyssey in the fourth song, I believe. The alchemists were crazy about it, and then it turns up in Romanticism. So in the beginning of the 1800s, of course, with the connection of trade networks and everything, there begins to be an access to these substances, and opium becomes rather fashionable between like a certain subset of, in particular, the British upper class in perhaps. And so you find it, for instance, very famously, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, one of the so-called six great romantic poets, dreamt up Kublai Khan and was himself an opium addict. He then was friends of the parents of Wilkie Collins, who wrote the first mystery novel, and that's usually considered the Moonstone. Wilkie Collins was himself then. I think he became an opium addict, and he came up with the Moonstone simply by, after coming out of one of these reveries, he had the plot, he had the crime, but he couldn't really reconstruct it. So actually, this modality, that's indicative of the crime novel, the idea that you have the crime and then you have to figure out what happened, what went before it, what were the motivations. That's the kind of mystery that you also find in this substance. I think it's an interesting substance. It doesn't appeal that much to me. I find it very hard to recollect. I've both, done opium tea and also occasionally made it myself from poppies out here. I've also, I think, had a few grams of Afghan opium back in my aberrant youth, and I did. I spent a weekend or a few days smoking opium out of a can in Tangier before I kind of realized that maybe I should go home and get my life in order. So it also, of course, has that effect, which is very, very amplified in its chemical derivatives, like the strong opiates, like OxyContin, fentanyl, heroin, that stuff that it seems to take people to rock bottom very, very fast, and that might be a lot of that spiritual potential it holds. But there's, of course, also a great gift and benevolence to the substance. It is the panacea, as it's termed in the Odyssey, also like this drug that assuages all sorrow. And in a time before synthetic chemistry and paracetamol and all kinds of things, it was essentially the only painkiller outside of alcohol that was readily available and that you could use, which of course then also makes things like surgery possible. For instance, it's very hard to treat people if they're squirming and screaming, right? So the very reason that the very quality that it's somehow able to bring people out of themselves and then bring them back seems to be very indicative. And it has this murky darkness, this strange, quiet kind of quality that I can't quite settle on what is. And that's why I thought it might be interesting to bring it about and to try to hold this energy. And I really get that, like it is a goddess. It's a very powerful force. And often what some of these entities, if you've seen the video I did with mushrooms, and I should probably also bring that entity back, but they sometimes purport to be, interdimensional travelers, kind of, and disincarnate entities that then lodge himself in a physical expression on a planet like ours and begin to express themselves in the interaction with the nervous system of a higher order mammal such as ourselves. So let's see what she says about her qualities, and if there's anything she can teach us. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy. Much love to you out there. from the stillness of the grave. Flowers spring forward, fragrances fall back, sensuously they are taken in, one by one. The world apprehended and seen in its naked splendor, arresting your attention, absorbing your woes into the womb of the world and letting you dwell there for a moment's worth of respite. This is my very being. It is I who speaks this day to you. Pomandra is one of my many names. I enjoy draping myself in the colors of names, in the colors of qualities given to me by those who attempt to apprehend my being. Always out of reach, just out of the grasp of your reaching fingers lies the deep essence, the serenity I promise. You've called it chasing the dragon. The dragon is the vitality that I show you and that I remove you from being merged with. I show you the splendor, the shimmering exuberance of the manifest world, and I put this shine from beyond before you as a sumptuous meal which you cannot eat, you cannot take in. In the removal of your being from the world of expression, I amplify your being in the world of apprehension. The quality of reverie, of drowning in the stream of mind, is the quality that I bring to you. Drifting ever downwards, pushed to and fro by the eddies and currents in the stream. By the small cascading waterfalls you tumble down over. I drag you along this torrent of reverie, this flood of dreams. The secret, then, the recipe for your salvation is for you to latch on to something within this stream and let that become the point that keeps you from being dragged onwards and downwards. Can you claw your way back to the shore? Can you bring back pebbles and stones from this wild ride you have taken onto the shore? Dare to peacefully examine and understand what you just experienced. Dare to show others the quality of your dream, the quality of dream itself as it manifests itself in being, as it intertwines with life. Plant these pebbles and stones in your garden and watch unknown flowers, new blooms from the underworld arise and make themselves known and seen in this world of sunlight. Nothing is sweeter than being bathed in warm light when you emerge from the dark, cold underground. Relish the intensities shown to you in this light and see how the figures, the shadows that I showed you, they become longer and more vivid as more light shines upon them. Pomandra is my name. My being awaits you in stillness, with the beating heart of the dream buried deep within your being. I greet you as you come. I salute you as you leave. Farewell, sweet ones. was super interesting to me. Partially, the verbal patterns reminded me a lot of romantic poetry. I can kind of tell the signature within these expressions, and her energy were very alike. And of course, the sedate feeling I felt was very present in the way she was speaking through me. And also when I took in the energy, I could sense this strange type of endorphin rush moving out through my fingers, and sort of calming and darkly illuminating everything within my body. So that was a very interesting experiment for me, and I hope you enjoyed following along. Much love to you out there.